Hello guys, I wanted to create a navigation sort of video for getting used to Tradingview and especially for things, hold on, let me turn off my music in the background real quick. Especially for like navigating for automation purposes. So I'm going to show you everything you might need to um, function essentially inside of Tradingview so you can get nice and familiar with it. So again, I've shared like links to let's just create a new thing. I want to start from completely scratch here and just kind of work through. So when you first pull up TradingView, this is what it will look like, give or take. You won't have all of these. These are kind of like preset ones that I've created, but essentially you can create list over here on the right. It'll be in this little pane here. Create watch list, essentially, where you can add all the tickers, all the assets that you would like to look at. Today's a pretty bullish day for cryptocurrency, just for reference, but so there is a side menu here. I don't know if it will be fully open or not. And by the way, this is the desktop version. I'll leave the link in the description so you can download it. I recommend it over the web application, although everything looks the exact same. You can change your settings. I believe it's set to light mode at first. I like dark mode, just a little easier on the eyes, so that's why the background here is black. You can go to settings and create it in dark mode somewhere around here. That's pretty easy to set up, and that's also based on preference. So I won't go into that because it doesn't pertain quite to the automation. It might actually be over here. So you can access your full-on account over here. Probably it's in app settings. Yep, here we go, dark mode if you would like to do that. You can create different tabs. You can even like record if you want. No, I don't need help. And so all sorts of things. There's a lot to this software. It's very user friendly. It's very, like kind of out there in the open. But just to kind of get you started here, nice settings tab over here. If you need to access your account or your profile, your billing information, it'll be all located over here. As I mentioned, you can add a bunch of different assets over here. You just click on the add button and type in, I don't know, whatever you really want to look at. And you'll just click the add button and it will add it to your watch list over here. Secondly, you can use this up here. So this can save your layout. So let's say you add a bunch of indicators and you want to then save your layout. You would just come up here and click save essentially. You can save your layouts. You can save different layouts depending on what plan you have. I think there's a limit to like the free plan, maybe having like 3 layouts, or I don't know the exact number, but you can make copies of it. You can name it. You can export all your chart data if you would like. Whatever you really want to do, this button up here is to save your layout. So if you add a bunch of indicators, which I'll go over later on, and then you want to save it, make sure you use this button here so it saves all your settings for next time you pull up the application. If you have any alerts, so let's say you want to set an alert tier for when price reaches this number, you can just click on the screen and add an alert. It'll add it to your alerts section, which is right below your watch list here. These are a bunch of automation alerts that I have, so they might look a little different than what you might, but if you just want to like add an alert for the price here, it'll add it to the screen. You can edit it. You can change what the message means if you would like. All sorts of different things, but this is just kind of to introduce you to it. If you want to stop it, you can pause it here essentially. You can delete it here. All that sort of stuff. If you want to, actually I'll get into that later with the indicators as well. And if you want this off screen, all you got to do is just minimize it there. I don't really use the majority of these other buttons here. I don't really see a major need for them. And I have the premium, I've been doing this for a lot of time. So these are the main 2 things you're going to want to look at, especially for the automation purposes, is having your watch list open so you can access different assets like Tesla or Ethereum or Nvidia or NQ, whatever you would like to look at. You can easily navigate through there, and then any alerts you can see here that you might have set on different assets. It doesn't matter what you set it on. All of your alerts that you set will be on this screen here. If you ever want to share a picture, you can come over here. You can either download the image, or what I normally do is just copy, and then it copies everything that's on screen here, and then you can paste it wherever you would like, if you want to put it in the Discord or send it to somebody else. Um, I use this function quite a bit. So normally I use the copy image, but the download image just puts it in your download folder on your laptop if you're interested in that. So let's kind of maybe go over some of the tools here. There's a bunch of drawing tools. I won't go through all of them. I may just show some of them. And the ones that I have, so you can add to favorites. There's like just a little button here. It will essentially create a box that has all your favorites list here. And so you can kind of go through all of this if you want to draw favorite tracements, or you want to draw, just different things. There's a bunch here of options. I use this one a lot, so drawing trend lines, putting horizontal lines on the screen, different things along those lines. There we go. I don't know why that took so long. And if you want to draw like a trend line, you can just draw from like 2 different points. If you want to put a vertical line on screen, it's nice and easy too. I have all these ones bookmarked, so it does the same here. If I want to draw different points or anything along those lines, this is a good time to go ahead and show the trash can symbol. So if you want to take anything off screen, you can remove all your drawings that you put on there. You can also remove different indicators. So if I click this, it'll get rid of my volume indicator down here. And if you ever make a mistake, you can always do like the Control Z button on your Windows computer, and I think it's Command Z on MacBooks, and it'll just undo whatever you just did. So if you want to put all the drawings back on, or take them all off again, just kind of go through this. So there's a bunch of different indicators here that you could put on. One that I use often is the long and short position as well. So if I'm in a long position and I want to make sure I save this, like say it's for like my investment portfolios, you can essentially just kind of draw and adjust your stop loss areas, your take profit areas. It'll tell you the R value right here. And then if you want to go into settings, this applies to all indicators really. Anything that you're going to put on screen, you can always double click on it and it'll pull up different settings for it. So if I want to have the more compact version of it, so it doesn't tell me all the words on it, you can click this on, so it makes it a little cleaner. You can put price labels, so these price labels would be, actually, what is that doing? Not too familiar, but you can play around with that, and then you can always, like if you click always show stats, it'll keep the words, it'll keep the all the stuff here. This is particularly important if you want to like take a screenshot. If you don't have this always show stats button, it won't show up in the screenshot. So anyway, it's the same for a short position. It just literally turns things around. Again, this applies to all indicators. What I'm about to show you here, you can always click Save As, and you can apply default settings. So let's say, like I have a template here just for pictures. So it saves, what exactly my settings were for that. And if you ever want to save a different one, just click Save As, type in a template name, and then click Save, and it'll save in your little drop-down box here. This applies to all indicators, just for reference on that. Let's see, you can also do you can draw brushes, which will just like that sort of thing. You can put arrows on the screen, rectangles. Rectangles I'll use often for like identifying horizontal support resistance sort of thing. Again, I added that to my favorites, and it's down here. But I believe that's all my favorites. You guys are more than welcome to kind of play around with all of these. You can put text on screen, so if you ever want to type Rylove is awesome, which I think that's definitely one that you guys would like to do. You can type in whatever you would like, and just sort of keep your ideas here. So let's do another example here. Like maybe I'm looking at this as potential macro low. Okay, and I just want to kind of save that, and maybe I want to type in Y or anything along those lines to kind of just save your thought processes for later. That option is there as well. And this measure tool you can also access by just hitting shift on screen. So you click shift and then you tap anywhere on screen. You can essentially use this to just like measure moves, measure how many points it is, how many bars it took, how much time it took. It just tells you a whole bunch of statistics there. So shift and on screen is normally how I do it, or you can just click on it and do your thing here. If you ever want to zoom in and zoom out, you can do that as well. I don't typically use this one ever, but again, if you ever do something like that, just Control Z out of it, and that'll undo whatever you put on screen. So also, you can click staying in drawing mode. You can lock all of your drawings. So let's just say I put this on here and I want to ensure that I don't move it after that. You can click this button here, and now I can't move it, essentially. So it's going to be locked on screen so I don't accidentally do anything. And then this button is particularly helpful. Like if let's just say you had a bunch of things on screen and you're like, okay, there's just too much. You can essentially click on this little eyeball button here, and you can hide all your drawings, which will just temporarily hide them. And that way you don't have to like delete them. If you unclick that, it will just turn back on. You can hide all your indicators if you would like. So any indicators you had on the screen, just kind of want to clean it up for maybe you're taking a picture and you want to share a screenshot. And if you have any positions and orders, you could just hide all, whatever you would like there. I don't really ever use this, but I think, yeah, if you save a layout that has a bunch of drawings and you want to pull it over to this table, you would just have to drop a URL link into it, and then you can essentially copy all your drawings and whatnot from a different layout on over to this one, and that can work for indicators and everything else too. So again, that's not one that I use commonly ever. So that's like the drawing tool sort of portion. There's a bunch of things here that you can go through and utilize, but I'll go ahead and move on to how we're going to add indicators on screen. So you see this big button at the top, indicators. You can go to technicals here, and there's a whole bunch of already built-in indicators like, I don't know, RSI, stochastics, Bollinger Bands, all those sort of things will already be on here, and you can just essentially open it up, go to technicals, and you can add moving averages if you would like, all sorts of different things if you want to get familiar with them or you already are familiar with them. If they're not here, then you can always just search for it. So let's say, I don't know, let's type in super trend, and it'll give you the base one here, as well as it'll give you a whole bunch of others that are in the community that other people have created. And so you have lots and lots of indicators available to you. If you want to look at anything like volume related, just type in what you want to see. Your favorites will always show up at the top for reference. And then, there's a whole bunch of different ways to look at what you want to. So I'm sure if I type in RSI here, it'll bring up my favorites, of course, first. It'll also bring up my personal ones that I custom coded that has RSI anywhere mentioned in the code or anywhere mentioned in the name. But then you have like the basic one that comes on Tradingview, the like stock standard one, I guess is the best way to put that. And then again, all community ones, anything else that somebody has created for you and you want to, utilize theirs, they made public to other people. I would always try to go with the ones that have the most people using them. This number here on the right is telling you how many people currently either have it saved or have it on their charts, and different things along those lines. So again, if you just click on the favorites button, it'll add it to here so you can quickly access whatever you would like to access there. If you custom code anything, there's a personal tab for that. I don't know if this shows up until you start coding around though. I think it's just technicals, financials, and community. Yeah, so a bunch of different things here. Community, again, this is one that you can find a whole bunch of indicators that people have custom coded and are publicly available. And then lastly here, invite only. This tab won't show up unless you have an indicator that is shared with you through invite only. So these are all my custom indicators that are invite only, that are willing to be shared with other people. I just have to like type in their name essentially, or have been shared with me. Like a couple of these are Eric Crown's and whatnot. So essentially, I would, or somebody else would have to add you to their list, and then if if you're on their list, it'll show up in this invite only tab. And this is particularly important because when you get added to like the automation strategies, it'll pop up in your invite only tab, And like if you hit the favorite button, then you can move it over to your favorites tab as well. That's totally up to you. But essentially, this is where all your invite only indicators will be at. So you had to be shared the indicator to be able to even see this tab. So that is particularly useful. Let's go ahead and just add a couple of ones. Let's go to technicals and we'll add RSI. Again, you can just type in RSI. This will be the stock standard one. You can type in Bollinger Bands if you would like, and this will be the stock standard one. So the ones that come with TradingView will be under technicals. You can type that on. Again, I believe it looks blue to most people, but I have already saved as default for this, so that's why the colors are different. Nothing else is different except for the colors. And so again, go back up to the indicators tab to be able to add anything. If you want to add EMAs, for example, you can add moving average exponential, which will be a single one, or you could do like triple EMAs, which will give you, I believe it gives you 3 different options. Or maybe it doesn't. No, okay, I don't even know what that is actually. So if you want to add an EMA to your chart, you can just use the moving average exponential. I'll go ahead and show you guys one for EMAs that I really like. It has like 10 EMAs you can put on screen if you would like. Actually, I don't know if I have it in my favorites anymore. CT. Oh, there it is. Moving average crossover indicator. If you add this one, which I would recommend if you don't have, like if you're trying to save space. Essentially, again, you can double click on any indicators. You can also come up here to settings and it'll pull the same tab up. But I recommend this one because you can add 10 different EMAs if you would like, if you want to just see all sorts of lines and whatnot. Again, you have to click it on here in the inputs tab, and then to be able to actually show them, you have to go over to the style to be able to toggle things on and off. So this is a phenomenal indicator for moving averages. It can also tell you, maybe I have that function turned off, crossover info box. So this essentially will tell you at what price the EMAs will cross above, and what price, like you need a candle close at this level in order for your EMAs to cross. And so this is very useful indicator that you can add on there. Just wanted to kind of go over that. So I believe I've shown you guys. Again, you can just click on any indicator, pull up settings if you would like, settings, or you can look at the source code even. If you want to dive a little bit deeper, maybe begin learning how to code in PineScript. I would recommend this only after you're very familiar with the software. Then if you want to take it off screen, you can click remove, or you can click on the indicator itself and just hit backspace, and that'll also take it off. So let's see here. So if I want to add an indicator onto my screen, let's just go with BBWP, for example. Stock standard BBWP, Bollinger Bands width percentile. I go over in the trading program significantly. You can essentially just add it to your screen, and then if you want to add any alert to it, you can come up here, and these are all the conditions that you can change. You can click on BBWP, and then it'll give you, like, if you want it to cross at a certain level, if you want it to be crossing up, if you want it to be moving up. If you put a channel on there, you can be like, okay, now it's entering into, so let's do it like this, for example. So upper bound, lower bound. So this is going to be anywhere where it's entering into a channel. So upper bound, let's go with 35%. Lower bound, let's go 0%. Okay. So this is going to tell you anytime that BBWP is entering in between that range. Okay. And then again, you can have this just trigger one time. This is an alert. So you can have it trigger one time, or you can keep this going once per bar close that it enters into that channel. Once per bar, once per minute. These ones that get kind of annoying. I like these two the most for like everything, and this is the main one that I do because I want to see price action that happens on candle closures essentially. And then again, you can type in, BBWP in channel, whatever you want to make this. You can set it up there. And then lastly, if you want to be notified like on your phone, this will notify you on the app. if you want to be sent an email, if you want it to play a sound, you can pick a sound for it that goes off, whatever you would like here. So yep, I think that's it on the alerts. I go in greater detail on alerts for the automation purposes. And then another thing I want to go over here is timeframes. So you can click on this little drop down button. You won't see all of these when you first add it. So these are my favorites. So you just click on the little favorites button. It'll add whatever timeframes that you like to see. If you want to copy what I do, these are the main ones that I use. 1, 2, 5 minutes. These are optional, of course. Most of the time I'm not ever looking below the 5 minutes. But 5, 10, 15, 30, 1 hour, 4 hour, 12, 24, and then a couple of different daily variations, and then weekly. Normally I don't look above the weekly ever too often, so I just don't have it on my favorites list. But again, if you wanted to, just click add to favorites on whatever time frame you want to look at. Let's see, is there anything else I want to go over here? If you want to create a new watch list, just click create a new list and then name it whatever. It'll show up as blank, and then you can add whatever assets you like to look at to that page. Honestly, I believe that's about it. Let's see. I'll create a whole separate video on strategy tester. I don't want to make this video too long. But I believe that's going to cover it. Oh, lastly, if you have one of the advanced, so like not the free version of TradingView, I think you have to have one of the ones you pay for essentially. But you can select a layout, so you can have multiple things on chart. So since I have the premium, I can choose any of these options. But let's just go with kind of the basic ones. If I want to separate out and have 2 different charts on here, let's say I want to look at the 5 minute, which I have set over here, and then I want to change this to the 15 minute. Just to kind of be able to see the same things. Let's say you have a bunch of indicators already on this one, so I don't know, let's just go to the CT, maybe an average crossover indicator. If I want to apply all of the indicators that I have on this screen, on like my preset screen, over to this one without having to do it manually, just right click on screen, apply these indicators to entire layout, and then it'll copy whatever you have over to this. Again, you can choose many different layouts if you want 4 different charts and whatever else. All of this comes with your paid programs. So this is one thing I wanted to go over. And then if you're like, that's just too much, just go back to 1 again. Here you go. So again, if you favorite all your time frames, you can just kind of look at different time frames and kind of what they're telling you. This is kind of an aggressive sell-off, just for reference. Like, as you can see, it's more aggressive than what we've really seen in the past. Maybe right here is pretty comparable. Again, shift and toggle on screen to be able to kind of look at percentages, so it's actually pretty comparable to this one. Yeah, so this, once you become more familiar with all this, it's just going to take you guys practice. You might have to watch this video a few times if you're interested, but here's all the basics on what you're going to be doing with TradingView. So add indicators, try to learn shortcuts if you would like, add your favorites, and then don't forget, once you have all your settings set up, to come up here, and you can either just fully click on this and this will hit save. This will save all your chart layout. You can turn on auto save if you would like. You can create this as a layout, have multiple different layouts if you want to look at different things, whatever you would like to do. This is a nice introductory video. I'll leave it at that. Hopefully this was helpful for getting used to TradingView. Peace out.